News, FM 107.9 and AM 990. And here's your host, George Bryant.
Good morning and welcome to Tuesday. Tuesday is one of our favorite days of the week. We get to turn our spotlight on one of our fantastic business partners, Triumph Bank, and your special host here today is Tracy Strickland. Hey, Tracy, how are
George.
you?
Happy Tuesday to you.
It's always great having you in. You bring a little ray of sunshine.
Thank you.
And we get to talk growth with Triumph Bank. And let's take a minute and want to let everybody know that if you're looking for a local bank to do business with, and whether you're looking to start your first checking account or you need a business loan,
Or buy a
man, you guys are there for you. And you've expanded. Your growth has been it's so impressive. I mean, you've got 4 great locations throughout the Mid-South and now in Nashville.
Right. Middle Tennessee now.
And so it's 13 years old.
Almost. We have 2 weeks to go.
Yeah.
June 5th or 6th is our 13th anniversary. We'll be officially a teenager as a bank. But no, George, we absolutely love this show, and it's Barbecue Fest week, so we were talking about the great things that happen in Memphis during the month of May, and this is such a great city.
Yeah, the city, everybody across the country is looking at Memphis, Tennessee, and here we are living it every day.
I know.
So
I know.
It's a good place to
It's
be.
a fun week coming up, and I'm sure some of our listeners will be going downtown. It's going to be the best weather for Barbecue Fest I can remember in the past several years. So, but I'm really excited to have, we were talking about the opportunity of buying a house. Well, I have our resident expert, and I'm super excited to have Ryan Guess as our special guest. Welcome, Ryan.
Well, thank you.
Ryan's not a stranger to the microphone.
He's not a stranger.
No.
He is on this radio station quite a bit. He's got his own show and has other things going on. But Ryan has had a lot of moving and shaking at Triumph lately. You've gotten 2 promotions in the past month, I think, a little rock star.
That's something like
Yeah,
that.
he
Yeah.
is a
I'm
rock
real
star.
excited and so proud of you. Ryan's been with the team since that mortgage team joined Triumph almost 6 years ago, right?
It sounds about right, yeah.
It's amazing how time flies. You guys joined right before I joined the bank. And so just recently, Ryan was promoted to vice president of our mortgage division, as well as just recently being the retail sales manager. So you're wearing 2 hats, and I'd love for you to share with our listeners really what that new role means to you and what that involves in your day-to-day
Right.
job.
So for those of you that know me, most of the time I'm the eternal optimist. I try to find the best, and I like to bring out the best in people. And so the fact that I have the opportunity to work with such an amazing team over there, and the fact that I get to lift up people that are starting where I started roughly about 14, 15 years ago, and to try to show them the way, just like somebody else did for me many years ago. It's a great opportunity to watch people grow, pour into other people, and to watch them be the best version of them that they can be every day, and then continue to do my own book of business at the same time. So it's very rewarding to be able to uplift other people and then to see the results come in from uplifting them. So.
Well, your team has just had an amazing rapport. We both get to work together at our Ridgeway lending office at 5904 Ridgeway Center Parkway, is where you can find Ryan and myself every day. But just talk about just how you guys work as a team, and just the overall benefits when you work with somebody and you're looking to buy a house. Tell us about the process, a little bit about what a new home buyer can expect by working with you or any of the members of your team.
Yeah, no, actually, let me give you an analogy of actually building a house.
Yeah.
The first step of any house is laying the proper foundation.
Exactly.
Without a proper foundation, your house will crumble.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with doing a mortgage. And the first part of that is dealing with individuals that know what they're doing, and then taking that application and going through all of their paperwork to make sure that before they get going, as far as the home buying process is concerned, that they know everything, they understand everything, and that they're able to digest information, because we've been doing this for so long.
Right.
It's I could do this in my sleep.
You know what to expect.
Right, exactly.
It might be a new home buyer who's never gone through
new
the
home
process
buyers, they're interesting because they've never been through it. It's just like I don't know what they do for a living. I can't go do their job. I can't expect them to understand what I do,
Right.
Really well. So the fact is that we start there. We help them understand that what they're doing is a big process because it's normally the largest purchase in their entire life.
Absolutely.
Help them understand the programs, understand why rates are what they are, and then help them make the best financial decision because somebody staying in a house for 15 years may need a different program than somebody that's going to only stay there for 5 to 7 years, which is normally the average for the first-time home buyers. So you want to paint a great financial picture and then help them understand everything because then it makes the whole rest of the process very easy. We just recently had one, and the lady at the very end, she told us, this was easier than buying a car. I didn't expect it to be this easy. She's like, I was expecting something to go wrong. And and I'm like, I'm sorry we did we disappointed you there. But, with minimal contact, a mortgage can be done if you have the proper team working behind you. And we do. We really have an awesome team from the beginning with us, with the mortgage aspect, and then the processors and the underwriters and the closers. We all have this great rapport with each other that it just makes it great to go to work every day, that you have this, feeling of, okay, we're a family and we're going to work together as a family to get this deal done on time.
And it's so true. And just having bought my new house for the first time in almost 20 years. And of course, it's a blessing to get to work for a bank and to get to work with fantastic, best of show coworkers that are on our mortgage team. But to be able to kind of live through that experience as a home buyer, I can tell you it was the most seamless experience that I could have ever expected because, I was able to kind of lead that process. Mark, my husband, had done it in the past. And it was so interesting to see everything is so user-friendly from the online portal. You do everything online through the application process, but all of the forms are done online. So if you can imagine, if you hadn't bought a house in a while, like the last time you'd done everything, you're filling out paperwork and just signing a bazillion different pieces of paper. But then when you're applying, it's just so seamless and it's just so easy. And then I think the biggest part about it is, like you said, is like what the process is in your head, but that home buyer doesn't. So you're walking them through every step of the way so they know what to expect. And then it's a great thing, like you said, to exceed their expectations.
Absolutely. And one of the other things that you hit, yes, everything's done online. I still like to do business the old school way.
Yeah, exactly.
I still love to bring people into the office. I'm a huge fan of looking at someone in the eye and shaking their hand, especially first-time home buyers. First-time home buyers sometimes need that extra little love, and we're there to do that. We're there to have people come into the office, and for those that maybe aren't ready, I'm willing to spend the time with them to get them ready as well in the future, whether it would be through some credit information on how to fix a couple things. That's what you can expect from our team.
Right.
And they care. They don't look at every individual like it's a dollar bill sign. They look at it as an individual, a person that has a story behind them. And we want to take that story and add a house to it.
Exactly.
Well, Ryan, pardon me, I know that there are things that can go wrong, and you making it seamless and behind, it's just says a lot for your team. Because, I know that even a little thing like the appraisal, the appraisal could, something could go wrong with that. It's not meeting expectations. Well, some people will just say, well, that's not going to work. Yeah. But I know you guys, you say, hey, look, we got to try another angle. Let me go to somewhere, you'll do something. And there are the same things that happen maybe if in credit history, if on, it might not look so good at first glance. But your guys dig in and say, hey, look, we'll make this,
I really look at it as there are not problems, but a solution that hasn't been found yet.
Yeah.
And that's really and truly how I kind of look at it, especially from the credit aspect. You're going to run into stuff.
Right.
And it's funny, sometimes people aren't 100% honest with you throughout the process, and you end up finding a skeleton in the closet. And there are outside things like the appraisal. With our hot market right now, sometimes appraisals are coming in low. But the main thing is just, stay confident, and, not lose your head, and try to help the individual that's on the other side of that also stay calm and help them find the solution. There are always the solutions. Very few times are there deals that are completely dead. And the main thing is for us to take a deep breath, step back, and that's another great thing. We have a wealth of knowledge.
Right.
Between myself, the president there, and one of our other main loan officers, Patty Sockenbacher, who's just amazing, there's roughly about 60-something years just between the three of us.
Yeah.
And if normally we put our collective heads around it, and our main underwriter, another 20-something years, you have 80-something years right there of just wealth of knowledge and looking at it from all different angles, because we all think differently.
Right.
And that's one of the amazing things that I really love about working with this team, is that people want to see things go to the finish line.
Yeah.
We want people in homes. And we're going to do everything that we can within the bounds of law to make sure that occurs.
We're talking with Ryan Guess and Tracy Strickland from Triumph Bank, talking mortgages this morning. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come right back, and we'll dig into it a little bit more. You're listening to The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
I'm Ed Parami, the owner of JanPro, the franchise that helps you be your own boss. JanPro is now the fastest growing franchise in the entire world for the second year in a row by Entrepreneur Magazine. We are growing so fast we need new business owners right here in Memphis right now. So if you want to be your own boss and open your own business, call JanPro at 901-683-4900 to see just how easy it is to be your own boss. For as little as $950 down, you can be a part of JanPro. Don't waste another minute. Call 901-683-4900.
Planning for retirement can be confusing and overwhelming. Tune in to the Servant Retirement Show to hear the current news and events today's retirees need to know. Every Saturday morning at 8 on KWAM, The Voice, AM 990. If you want to talk to Dan Groban or Philip Menard today about your retirement plans, call the team at Servant Advisors Group, 855-260-1000. That's 855-260-1000. Get started on the path toward a comfortable retirement today. 855-260-1000.
And now back to Business Spotlight on The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Good morning and welcome back to Let's Talk Growth with Triumph Bank. Tracy Strickland and our special guest Ryan Guess is in the house, and we're talking mortgages. Welcome back, Tracy.
Thanks, George. Well, when you're with a pro like Ryan, who's on the radio all the time, he knows he's probably like literally answering calls and texting his customers at this very, very minute. But I know when we were talking yesterday, Ryan, you were telling me about a product that not a lot of people know about, and it's an interesting conventional loan product that can really reach out and help those moderate income potential home buyers. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, the 97% conventional, it's been around for a couple years, but it's really just caught on recently. It's called Home Ready and Home Possible, depending if you're dealing with Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac on which one. But it's an amazing program. It allows individuals to put 3% down compared to FHA, which is 3.5% down. So if individuals have a decent credit score, I would, without a shadow of a doubt, in moderate income. And the income's going to differentiate itself by different census tracts. So you have some census tracts in Memphis that have unlimited income, and then you have some that are in the $60,000 and below. And it's only for the individual that's actually going on the loan. So it's not total household income. It's just the individuals actually on the note itself. And comparatively speaking, taking this program, if somebody had, let's just say hypothetically, a 720 credit score, comparatively, to a FHA mortgage on a $150,000 home, they would roughly save over $100 and something compared to a FHA mortgage. And one of the great things about that is that the 3% that they're putting down is all going to the actual principal. Whereas on FHA, you have that upfront mortgage insurance premium, right. And sometimes that upfront mortgage insurance premium, because of the way it's structured, is 1.75% of that is gone. So on a $150,000 house, if you're thinking about it, it's roughly about $2,100 gone on day one, goes away of your money. So if you think about that, that's just, going back to what I was saying earlier, first-time home buyers normally stay in a house for 5 to 7 years. You need every bit of principal,
That's right.
balance reduction, so that when you go to sell your house, you don't end up in a time of being upside down, and that you actually have some equity in your home. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and I think that it's just what we always try to do at Triumph is create those solutions no matter what your income level or whatever that is. And I know you were touching on before we went to the break, just if it is a customer who's wanting to buy a home and, their credit score is just not quite there. I think at other institutions, it's real easy because of maybe the volume that they're dealing with. It's just say, you know what, come back to us in 5 years when you're ready. But you and your team take a completely different approach. And, we do provide so many different counseling services and just that kind of hand-holding one-on-one approach. And I want you to touch on that a little bit more on how you help that potential home buyer that's maybe not quite there.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the things that you really have to look at is possibly bankruptcy, foreclosure.
Right.
And just in that, just recently we had a individual that came to us, and they were 1 year out of bankruptcy and foreclosure. They had extenuating circumstances. The young lady, unfortunately, she had breast cancer, and it took her out of work, and she had to close down her business because after the breast cancer, she had some other blood issues. And lo and behold, we were able to get that deal pushed through one of our portfolio channels.
Wow.
And that's the type of stuff that we try to do. We work with people if we have the ability to. Now, they did have to put, they had to put a little extra money down, but we worked with them, and we were able to see that deal through. The main thing is, if somebody is truly interested in helping themselves out from a credit standpoint, all I ask is that they come and visit me. I don't do that service over the telephone because I need to know that you're really
invested.
Invested in the process. And with that, sometimes I'll look at it and I'll be straightforward with the clients. I can't help everything.
Right.
And then there are other experts that help with credit repair that sometimes I refer out, give them a multitude of names because different, I want people to feel comfortable, and I don't want to tie myself into just one company.
Right.
But there are some good credit repair people out there. But if it's minor stuff, sometimes we'll look at stuff and, somebody will have a 600 or 580, and then you'll look at it and you'll say, okay, with this one minor tweak, what maybe it's lack of revolving credit because you got two different types of credit, installment and then revolving. Maybe they go and get a secured line credit card. Yep. 30 days later, they may have 40, 60 points more on their credit, and then they're good to go. We take that time. We don't just look at everybody. Like I said, going back, people aren't numbers.
Yep.
People are people, and they have a story, and we want to add a house to that story.
Yeah. Well, it's the personal relationship, and we talk about that every week here, George.
Exactly.
And I think that speaks to the culture that we build at Triumph. It speaks to the relationships we have with all of our banking customers, whether they're buying a house or opening a checking account, or it's one of our community partners that we build those relationships with, is, that face-to-face contact. It is great to have things that are online, but there's no replacement for that personal touch, and there's no replacement for that person that's, sitting across the table from Ryan, who's desperately wanting to buy their first home. But, to be able, maybe they have been sent different places when they finally find somebody who they can trust, and then if they finally get into that house in 5 to 7 years, who are they going to call when they want to buy another house, right? And so I think what speaks to members of all of our mortgage team is, I know Patty Sockenbacher, you mentioned earlier, she likes in her email signature to put lender for life, because you think, I'm going to buy this house, I'm going to stay in it for, the rest of my life. Well, that's so not like the case, most of the time. And so the great relationships that our teams build, they're going to call back Brian. They're going to come back to see Patty and David and all the rest of our team that is just phenomenal as far as making a difference in their mortgage experience, but then, it really can transform somebody's life when you can get it.
It's all about the relationship. Even this past year, I've already had 2 clients that were from 8 to 9 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And we had another individual, as far as talking about credit, they came and saw me roughly almost 2 years ago. They had around a 550 spent the time with them, outlined everything. I knew it was going to take over a year to get them where they needed to be. Actually took about a year and a half. We took them from a 550 to about a 710.
Oh my gosh.
And they were able to, move forward on buying a home. And that's how rewarding when you're able to help somebody else out that's in that situation that may have not gotten answers somewhere else, and that you actually take the time and you spend with them and you help them out, because it's the answers aren't always there, right in front of you. Sometimes you need somebody that has a different outlook on it and is willing to share that information with you.
Right. Exactly. Well, it's just phenomenal to see you guys every day, and you do it with a smile on your face and just the most incredibly positive attitude. And from time to time, Ryan will then bring in the amazing things that he cooks, and he's just a multi-talented guy. And we were talking about just those things, that why you stay at Triumph. Not only what brought you here as part of the team, but what gets you excited about working at our bank, and what really differentiates the experience that a customer can feel at Triumph, but also you as a team member on things that are done. But just talk about those things that make Triumph special, you feel, in your mind.
It's family. I've worked with David, who's the president there now, for roughly about 10 years. And the fact that the relationship I have with him, as well as the other individuals there, our production manager, Lisa Short, remember I was mentioning earlier in the show about individuals that came along and showed me the way.
Right.
Lisa and her husband, Charlie, who are both amazing individuals, love them to death. Without Charlie, Lisa, and another gentleman by the name of Eddie Reed, I would probably not be still in the mortgage business. In a time where I had nobody really showing me the ropes, they showed me the ropes at the first mortgage company I worked at. And now I get the opportunity to still work with Lisa. But the team that Lisa has in our closing department, perfect example, about 2 weeks ago on a Friday, trying to get this deal closed so that this lady could get into her house. And what occurred is I called this lady at 9, 10 a.m. in the morning and said, I need this document. Right. And this was the last thing I needed to close this deal for her. And so the lady, I said, I need it as soon as possible. Well, that soon as possible became 3
People
3
get
p.m.
a little forgetful.
Yeah. They got a little bit behind, got it at 3 p.m. My underwriter was sweet enough to take the time immediately once I got that document in to stop what she was doing, look at the file, and go ahead and clear it to close. Clear to close, of course, means no more documentation is needed from the client. Okay. Our closing staff then immediately got on it, checked their last couple of boxes, had the documents out by 4 o'clock. That lady closed at 5 o'clock that day. I don't know if I could do that anywhere else. And that's not selling any other company short or anything else like that. I'm not trying to put others down, but this is what I know. And this is the love that these individuals have, that a lot of times on Friday, you know how it is around the office.
They're ready to go
like,
the weekend.
See you later.
Yeah.
But my team was there to say, hey, Ryan, we got your back.
Yeah.
And that's always a great feeling to know that individuals like David and the Lisas and the Jennies of Triumph Bank, they say, I got your back. And that means a lot. You can't put a price tag on
That's
that.
right.
And it's just that it's like having like my kid always runs, the 3 of them, they always had their blankies. And it's like having your security blanket. I want my blankie.
Yeah.
And so that's what it's like with this team. So.
Well,
Ryan, how can we get in touch with you? How can our listeners reach you and talk to you about a mortgage?
There's a couple different ways. I don't mind giving I don't know if you'll remember my email address is rguess, Guess, at triumphmortgage.com, or you can reach me at 901-746-5308. That's probably the best number to reach me at all times. And you can pretty much you'll see me around. And I'm more than happy to, like I say, take the time with individuals if they're willing to put their best foot forward.
See, that's powerful. And you can always just Google Triumph Bank and get that number and get someone on the phone. They'll
Go to
find
Meet the Team
Ryan.
Mortgage, and Ryan's at the top. Yes.
Tracy, thank you so much
Thank you,
again.
George.
It's
Thank you,
great
Ryan.
Tuesday mornings right here, 7:30 to 8 every Tuesday. And we'll see you next week.
Great.
You're listening to The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Triumph Bank strives to make banking easy for our customers. You have a lot of choices when it comes to banks, so we invite you to visit one of our local offices in Memphis,